Oh, there we are. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Today is Friday, October 10th, 2025. It is something seems wrong. Oh, there we go. How about that? Okay, it's Friday, the 10th of October. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning here in southwestern Nevada. My name is Edward Bevilacqua. This is Department of Career Services, where our goal is to help our students and interested people on their journey through this life. And this is day 5 of week 1 in our neuroscience-oriented approach to success. Day 5, week 1. And we're going to be learning a little bit about Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl, a name most people don't recognize, but his work they probably do. This was a German Holocaust survivor. I don't know if he was a psychiatrist. I think he was a psychiatrist. One of the great minds, the third school. I think he was the third school. Freud, Jung, and Frankl. So we'll talk more about him and about meaning, the meaning of life. And he almost got it right. I'll say Viktor Frankl almost got it right. There's one thing he did not know, and that is, as a Jew, he did not know Jesus as the Savior, the Creator incarnate. And I think if he had put that through his filter, Jesus was not just a guy, he was the Creator incarnate. If Viktor Frankl ran everything through that lens, he would have taken it one step further. Okay, but we'll talk more about that. Let's get to our worksheet where the magic happens. That's where the experts are. So this is designed to be a 4-hour per day study. When you're in the state pen, you've got 4 hours that you can slog through this 4-week, 100-page per week course over and over and over, and share it with your cellie or somebody else, your road dog. For us, we have the worksheet, and if you went through everything, it would take about 4 hours per day, but by the end of it, you would be, boom, a new person. However, if you just go through the highlights, as our program is broken up into a 4-it's a transformational program that covers 4 areas: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Physical, fitness and health. Mental, always be learning, ABC. A, always be, B, C, learning. Always be learning. Emotional, controlling our emotions. If you can't control your emotions, don't worry, someone else will, and they'll probably take you out of the game, unless you have an attitude like Forrest Gump, where you focus on the heart of the person, and if their heart is true and you do what they tell you to do, you will be okay. You will be better than okay. Right. Okay. So, advice from an 80-year-old. Jerulon says 80-year-olds don't know anything. You got to get advice from a 90-year-old. Show respect for everyone who works for a living, regardless of how trivial their job. Right. They work for a living. There's too many people out there who could and should be working for a living, but they do not. And they have the attitude, the Perumpian aura of they are an expert. They're the master of their skull-sized kingdom, and nobody's going to tell them what to do, which is their right. Hey. Okay. Show respect for everyone who works for a living, regardless of how trivial their job is. Very good advice. Now, what does Seth Godin have to say? Finding your cohort. What is a cohort? Let's see. Let's see over here, Merriam-Webster. The exact definition. Cohort. A group of warriors or followers, companion, accomplice. Okay, so I would say, what I was going to say is it fits into Seth Godin and David Logan's idea of a tribe. Tribe is like a cohort, people who are like you, but they don't have to be like you. They could be one of 10 divisions of an ancient Roman legion, a group of warriors or followers. Group of people, we can say a tribe. Finding your cohort, finding your tribe. Friendship is part of it, but it's mutual forward motion that transforms a group. Yeah, we can be friends. It's like last night's Bible study. We had a good time out there this day. We had a good time as Christians. The other day, we didn't have a good time as Christians. But yesterday, today, we had a good time in the rain. Okay, that's great. Mutual forward motion is what transforms. The shared journey and mutual respect of a cohort can change the arc of our world, our work, and our lives. The shared journey and mutual respect. When we're in sync, we can find the courage to build something important. Right. That's why going to church is essential. Have the courage to build something important. 15 years ago, I ran a 3-day seminar in my office for about 12 women. The FE MBA cohort took a life of its own, and last week I was lucky enough to join them for their reunion. My role in this cohort was tiny. I was simply there in the beginning. Entrepreneurship isn't about building a giant company that makes money. Instead, it's the attitude of solving problems, creating leverage, and building something bigger than oneself. When people are enrolled in this journey, they're open to possibility and optimism. The internet has put millions of people a single click away from each of us, but too often it simply confuses us with the endless blur of next. When we take the time to commit, it turns out that there are people right here, right now, eager to connect and join. I'm going to do another FE seminar joined by Jessica Quinn, blah, 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 blah. Of course, you don't need to apply to be part of the cohort. Okay, that is a good one. So I need to go here. We should all strive for this as we start this. Okay, bingo, bango, bongo, people, where'd I go? Where am I at? Okay, where's I at, everybody? I'm right here. Take me, I'm right here. Okay. Viktor Frankl. Good, we've got 10 minutes. Viktor Frankl. This is one of those things. The more you know, the more respect, understand, frame your life, boom, set something as your North Star, etc. And I think Viktor Frankl qualifies for that. And I think he's a stepping stone an important stepping stone on the path. But when you come to the Viktor Frankl stepping stone, don't continue on that path. Use that path to go this way. Which way? Glad you asked. way? What if this is the way? So in here we talk about Baruch Spinoza, who almost got it right. He missed it by that much. Today, Viktor Frankl missed it by that much, but it was a solid thing. And if he had taken one more step in this direction, Nirvana, I think he would have had something that was pretty bulletproof. So, Viktor Frankl, smart guy. During World War II, Jew, had the opportunity to leave, but his family couldn't go with him. So he went to the camps. Unlike many, maybe most, he actually survived. He came out alive. And uniquely, he was a psychiatrist. I'm going to say he was a psychiatrist who was really trying to understand, why do people do what they do? Who are we? And when he was going in and they were doing the stripping of all your personal possessions, he had the manuscript of his work, Logotherapy, as he's going into the final room to, get rid of your clothes and everything else. He gives the German officer, clerk, whatever, the thing that says, please keep this. This is really important. It's my life's work. Please keep it. Don't, and the guy said, of course, naturally we'll do that. And then as Victor was walking through the door, he turned around to see the guy throw it in the garbage can. Imagine how you would feel. You're going to one of these camps, not where. You're going to be losing everything, and the fruit of all of your academic work is thrown away. And if you don't live to recreate it, it's lost forever. Wow. That's an emotional kick in the stomach. So he's at camp and he notices, because he's been trained, he's a guy, he's around, he's doing work on this. He notices the behavior of people. And he notices some people die and some people don't die. Curious. Why do they die? Well, some die because they get sick and die, but surprisingly, not as many as you would think. Some die because they get beaten to death. And of course, many die because they are told, you go over there. And that was explainable. And some people, when they give up, bad things happen. Like they die. They might get sick. They might, whatever. The curious case for the people who didn't die. Why is it everybody didn't die? Why isn't everybody didn't commit suicide or do something that would get them killed? Why didn't everybody give up hope? And that's where the interesting thing happens. He didn't get special treatment. He went to many or some of the really bad camps. So he didn't have it cushy. But one of the things as a doctor, he could help minimize the sickness. Nazis weren't really concerned about keeping people healthy because they had an ample supply of people coming in. So they had sort of a labor problem of, we got too many laborers and we got to winnow the herd. So he notices this, and one of the days he is really kind of depressed because I think he get about 1,000 calories per day. So he happens to get an extra little piece of sausage. And he thinks, what should I do with the sausage? Should I eat it? Should I save it? If I save it, should I trade it? If I trade it, what should I trade it for? Should I trade it for a piece of wire to use as a shoelace to keep my shoes tied? Should I trade it for a cigarette, maybe? What should I do? And then he noticed himself getting more unhappy with all the choices that he had, instead of happy that he got a gift. And then he had kind of a vision of himself in the future in a tuxedo, standing on a podium with people dressed in their finest, sitting on leather seats, giving a lecture about this experience, meaning the experience of I got a little piece of sausage, extra piece of sausage in my watery, almost rancid soup. And that made him feel good. And then he kind of latched onto, or maybe it refined it more, this idea of if I have hope for a better future, that will pull me or keep me going. And along the way, somewhere in this journey, he came to the conclusion that even though the Nazis could take everything from him, including his life, all of his possessions, his family, his wife, his manuscript, they could take everything from him except for one thing: how he chose to respond to them. That they could not take away. Segue. That's our third thing about controlling emotions. Okay, back. So Viktor Frankl started really going down this path of I control how I choose to respond. I don't have to respond the way they want. And one day, they said, what is your mental malfunction? Why is it you continue to keep going forward? And he said, you can take everything from me, including my life, except for how I choose to respond. And then mentally, perhaps, he got himself in a position where every day it was the Nazis trying to break him, the whole Nazi army trying to break him. All he had to do was keep moving forward. Kind of a Job type of story, which he certainly would have known. That all of my possessions, everything I own can be taken, including my health, but what doesn't change is how I choose to view the Lord. Boom, bang, bonk. Now the problem is Viktor Frankl didn't know Jesus as the Savior, he didn't know Jesus as the Creator incarnate. Forget about the Savior part. As the Creator incarnate who came down, came and became man with the purpose of helping people understand what they need to do, which was very simple. If you want to be one with the Father and me, just do what I command you to do. If you love me, you'll follow my commandments. And if you follow my commandments, you'll be one with the Father and I. What are the commandments? Well, the great commandments: love God with all your heart, mind, soul, love one another, and love your neighbor as yourself. Love one another as I have loved you. On those, all of the other commandments hang. And then at the end, he gives a third commandment, the Great Commission. Go make disciples of other people. And along the way, he says, don't be afraid, just believe. Believe what? Believe if you follow my commandments, you will be one with the Father and me. That's it. You'll be one with the Father and me. Because eternity is a long beat time. Okay, we're at our time, and so that's it. Time, and cut.